Monday, October 18th, 2021 at 6:30. A call to order and a roll call now would be great. Tara, not Tara. Tara was here the last time.
Terry Motley. Here. Alderman Hudson.
Here.
Alderman Wilkins. Alderman Stevens. Alderman Rogers.
Present.
Alderman Magley.
Yeah. All right, we have a quorum. If everybody stand, join the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. That brings us to item 4, comments from citizens. This time we can open up the floor for any comments from citizens. If you have any takers.
No.
Looking
There was
around.
nothing to read online to tell what was happening tonight.
Okay, we'll move right on then and close the comments from citizens. And we will move forward then to number 5 in the agenda, which is the consent agenda, which is the Board of Alderman meeting minutes, Public Works and Utilities Committee meeting minutes, General Government and Public Safety Committee meeting minutes, Planning and Zoning minutes, activity reports, treasurer's reports.
There's the P&Z.
You're right. The Board of Alderman meeting minutes, Tara had an emergency, and she was actually here for the committee meetings as well. She had a family emergency and had to leave today and did not get those in the packet, so they will be provided in the next meeting packet.
Strike
So
A.
it is just
A, B,
planning
and
and
C.
zoning,
Yep.
Activity report.
yes.
So I move that we accept the consent agenda of D, E, and F.
Second.
Have a first and a second to approve consent agenda B, E, and F. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. That moves us to 6, accounts payable over $1,250. Which has a grand total of $848,454.85.
There are some large amounts in there. Those are because we're making payments off of the pay requests for the wastewater treatment facility upgrades. And then we have another one for the water treatment plant as well. We're nearing the end on the water treatment plant payouts.
Move that we accept the accounts payable over $1,250 for a grand total of $848,454.85.
Second.
Have a first and second to approve the accounts payable over $1,250. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Accounts payable passes. That moves us to item 7, legal, of our action agenda. First would be an ordinance approving the final plat of Dorella subdivision. And what's that bill number?
That is bill number 2425.
Is there any discussion on this one with the P&Z?
No, I believe it's really just a formality. I mean, the streets are already in, we're working the electric, the supplies order to put the electric in. There is a sidewalk agreement, that's included in this, and the amount of the sidewalk improvements, totaled $4,475, and that we would hold on to that and put it in, it's not really escrow, we just hold the money, reserves until we are ready to put that sidewalk in. The sidewalk is not for the subdivision necessarily, it's along Wiggum Street, it's on the north side of
The
Wiggum
road
Street.
frontage, right?
So whenever we're ready to put in the sidewalk on the rest of Wiggum, then we would have that, and they don't have to worry about doing that.
Is there
We've
gonna
done
be-
that in other areas.
Is there gonna be sidewalk in that little circle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is the developer responsible for the sidewalk in the city?
The developer is paying for the sidewalk, and then the city would be installing it in a later time.
To be held in an account.
It's similar to the agreement that we have for Cobblestone Lake Estates, where we have money set aside for, future sidewalk development along the north side of Good Hope Chance, along the south edge of Cobblestone Lake Estates.
But we'll just be reliable for William, right?
Right.
Not inside whatever
Right.
the circle is.
It's a road frontage, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just that one area.
Road frontage, yeah.
I move that bill number 2425 be given its first reading by title only.
Second.
I have a first and second for, bill number 2425 begins first read. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? First read passes. First read, please.
An ordinance approving the final plat of Borella subdivision located in section 10, township 51 north, range 11 west, in the city of Centralia, Boone County, Missouri, and accepting dedication to the city of Centralia, Missouri of the utility easements and street right-of-way in said plat as the public property of the city of Centralia, Missouri.
I move that bill number 2425 be given its second reading by title only.
Second.
I have a first and second for the second reading of bill number 2425. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
An ordinance approving the final plat of Borella subdivision located in section 10, township 51 north, range 11 west, in the city of Centralia, Boone County, Missouri, and accepting dedication to the city of Centralia, Missouri of the utility easements and street right-of-way in said plat as the public property of the city of Centralia, Missouri.
One minor correction to that. There's a drainage easement there also, so you can take the utility out.
Okay.
Change anything right now?
No.
It doesn't change anything in the wording of the ordinance.
I was just double checking before I, the final motion of it. I move that bill number 2425 be adopted by roll call vote.
Second.
A first and second for bill number 2425 be adopted by roll call vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Motley? Yes. Alderman Rogers?
4.
Alderman Stevens? Alderman Magley?
Yeah.
Alderman Hudson?
Yes.
Alderman Wilkins?
Okay. Motion passes. Ordinance number, please.
It is 3107.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That moves us to B on the legal action agenda. An ordinance to fix the compensation of certain employees of the city of Centralia, Missouri. This is to do with our interim chief position and upgrading that pay scale to compensate for the added duties and responsibilities. That sound right?
Yes.
Kevin?
There are a couple of blank spots in the ordinance, so we'll need to fill that in with, we would say grade R, step 4, which is currently $27.66 per hour.
So this would be bill number 2426.
Yes, sir.
And I would look for a motion for first reading of that, with R4 designated as the class and the pay rate being $27.66.
Bill number, is it 2426?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Move that bill number 2426 be given its first reading by title only.
Second.
I have a first and second for bill number 2426 to be given its first reading. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
An ordinance to fix the compensation of certain employees of the city of Centralia, Missouri.
Move that bill number 2426 be given its second reading by title only.
Second.
A first and second for the second reading of bill number 2426. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
An ordinance to fix the compensation of certain employees of the city of Centralia, Missouri.
Move that bill number 2426 be adopted by roll call vote.
Second.
That first and second for bill number 2426 to be adopted by roll call vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes. Roll call
Stevens, Alderman Rogers,
4,
Alderman Magley.
Yeah.
Okay, bill number 2426 passes, ordinance number would be, correct? Noting that R4 is the designation of grade 2666 is the play. All right. That moves us to item 8, purchasing. I'm looking for a motion for approving the change order number 2 for water treatment plant upgrade project in the amount of $1,280.40.
I had one question on this, because I was just scanning through it. The last line before the box that lists all the breakouts, it says this change order also reduces retainage from 5% to 2% of the total contract price. Does that mean we're eating up our buffer that was built in? So we're down
Yes,
to,
we're down to $48,000 buffer now, towards the end of the project.
Yeah, 'cause we
So
took
what
the-
part is-
Took the
It's the
$6,000.
$1,280.80. We had already approved a $64,000 change order early on in the project.
Real early in the
That's
project.
all this.
So we added some things and we took some things, we got some credit for things that they did not use.
You added, subtracted things, and then it came up with $1,280.
Yes.
40 cents.
Is this the last, or getting close to the last?
We're very close to the end of this project.
Does anybody know where we're at on percentage of expenditures on total? Are we below budget, or?
We are under budget,
Really?
we are.
That's good.
Total payout, I actually have this because I was talking to the engineer today. So the total payout to the contractor so far on this is $2,114, $2,114,000, 700, can I start over?
That's it. That was, you did record time.
$2,114,703.19 after the current pay request is taken.
Yeah.
there's only 40-some odd thousand dollars.
In our retainer, yes.
Because of accounts payable, we had stuff in there, right? Yep.
And that's slated to be complete in 2022, right? Or-
This one will be complete in 2021.
2021.
It's almost complete.
Good, and then we can
This-
broadcast that.
If we hadn't had the setbacks with the slaker, it would already be
I was gonna
complete.
say, have they got that figured out yet?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy stepped up and he's followed through. He immediately contacted us.
Cause the water quality still kinda is sucking.
It's gonna be for a while.
Well, I mean, we thought it was gonna get better already, what,
Yeah.
2 months ago?
We
when-
did too.
But the
Yeah.
slaker's not, it's gotta
Yeah.
be, once it gets in, it'll be doing what it needs to.
Cause I think that's what's causing my hot water heater problems.
So I move that we approve the change order number 2 for the water treatment plant for $1,280.40.
I have a first and second to approve, the change order number 2. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to 9, the mayor ain't got much to say. Just, I will say, that you're here, thanks for stepping up and what's going on over there and the call that's been being brought by you and the group over there and the one officer decided to stay, so I think that's good stuff that's going on over there right now. So, moving forward, I guess we're in the process of looking for officers and interviewing those folks at this time and bringing applications in for the replacement position of chief.
So what is our strategy? Chief first or officers first?
I think we're kind of doing a hybrid, just to fill in gaps at this moment. We have a couple, somebody's interested in a part-time position, I think that would help. I don't necessarily know that we need to hire all full-time positions at this point, but we do want to alleviate some of the officers, county officers as well that are left over that, so.
And talking with you, officers told me that Boone County made a commitment up front, and they seem to be holding to that, no problem, and they're willing to help and have people in the office here to make sure no man is out on duty by himself. And that was, first thing is officer safety and then safety of the town. That's happening, that's going on, asking, Officer Stovey and I said that's going well, and they said they made a commitment for the long term to help us get through this, so. It'd be nice if we could get the chief to finish out the team and kind of have a plan.
Right.
So I would hate to hire an officer that has a personality conflict with the chief, just because they're strong-willed individuals, not saying would be a problem.
Sure.
per se.
I would like to, we have a large number of people that are interested in and willing to help with the chief interviews. It's not a good idea to have the entire board there, because then that constitutes an open meeting, and that means anybody could come and sit in on the interviews, and I don't know if that's really a great practice. So what I would like to do is divide that pool of people up into one pool that will help go through the resumes and applications, review them, and determine who we would like to interview, and then the other set of volunteers would be an interview panel. So we have Sergeant Harris and Interim Chief Stovey and Brenda Moss from the Police Department are willing to help in this process. Dr. Chancellor is willing to help in this process. I know Christina Stevens had expressed some interest. If any other board members would like to divide you up though, and 3 on one committee and 3 on another. And the mayor, city attorney.
What's the final one? Are they gonna come in, I mean, the final one would be coming in front of the board, right? The final candidates, or is there gonna be a review board that makes that decision?
There will be an interview board, and then the board, this board would make a final decision when we do an
The
appointment.
finalist.
Right, but it would be on a recommendation of the interview panel.
It'd be like where they recommend an officer at that point, if it
Yes.
come from the group.
I wouldn't wanna be on the final one before that one.
So you want to be in the interview panel?
Yeah,
That's what I want.
I don't wanna be on the one looking for, unless you need somebody to balance it, then.
All right. Okay.
Your interest.
So we're not doing it like we did
We all.
last time, right?
No, because then that makes it an open meeting.
So,
if you all
Can you do a
together.
closed session meeting on interviews?
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
They were open.
I have an opinion on that,
They were open last.
Well, yeah, I understand what he had.
Yeah.
but you don't know
There's
why
something
you
sometimes
yet.
what we do in the corporate world is you have your panel, and then they make their final recommendation, and then other decision makers could have one more interview with that
Okay.
finalist.
All right.
That may be a way to allow every board member a chance to interview
Okay.
the candidate. So, so but they're only, the second group is only gonna interview the finalists unless they were like, no.
Okay.
But, I mean, cause I know,
Absolutely, that would work.
we do that for positions all the time. You interview with a panel, and then there's 2 or 3 people you have follow an interview with afterwards, and normally hire in corporate world, hire in the structure, you'll have follow-ups.
So, an example of this would be what? The first group would, let's say, find 20 people.
Okay.
The second group defines that down to what?
A reasonable number.
Let's just say 5.
We might find that we have 10 really exceptional candidates that we'd like to interview.
So what if you had 15, then the second group has to define that down to a reasonable number?
Reasonable number for second interviews, people that really stood out for
And then they come in, and then
the final.
the board makes the final decision.
Yeah, this may be a 3 or 4 part process then.
Yeah, I think, we did it in teams, right? That's kind of how we go into the corporate world, you go to teams, that way you have 3, you get 2, and they kind of switch up. But in this case, because of older people, right, we've got to make sure we don't have more than 3. You have 2 of those, and then you move through the process. And what would be absolutely, it would be unbelievably great is to have 3 or 4, we have the must-haves that we want in who we're hiring, right? You have to meet the minimum qualifications to be considered. The goal is to have the wish list of, what the wants, extras, right? And that would be the differentiating criteria for hiring someone, that's always what you have. You have the must-haves, and you have another set of rules and things, that if they have this, it's a plus, it's a plus. Sometimes you weight those, sometimes you don't, but the bottom line is, it'll be great. The hope is that it gets down to we have a tough decision between 2 or 3 people that are really qualified. That's what we hope, right? So, we wanna make sure that we're very, very, thorough in vetting this process, and I know that Heather's wanted to do that, and make sure that we do that process, just trying to figure out how do we get enough people, other people involved too, from the community that have to be engaged, you know, a chancellor, some of those people, I think that that's fine. I think it gets down to it, we can get to where we have an interview process that we finish, but with those people's input.
Well, I don't know if this was done the first time, but I think they need to have sources that we need to check out. Was that done last time? References from their past experience? I mean,
I thought that we did check references.
Did we?
check references.
I thought
Did
We brought it down to like a four deal thing, and then we started checking references, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
And then we started interviewing. We brought it down to four or five.
I think there were 4 individuals here that
We
we,
Yeah, I think we interviewed 4.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
So how did you do that in the past, interviews with the?
Right here?
They sat right there at that
there,
table
it was an open
and
meeting.
did the interview.
Yep, they did.
Nerve-wracking.
Respectfully, I don't know if it was an actual open meeting or if you all just said, I can come, because I know I was there
We didn't
For
post
at
it as a
least-
closed meeting.
for
I
at
remember
least
the
the
conversation.
presentation.
No, it was not posted as a closed meeting. I remember that conversation.
Do you remember, Dawn?
It wasn't, it was not intended to be a closed meeting.
No, I didn't think so. So, anyway, so that's what we need to look at. We have several applications. I'd like to say a number, but some applications were coming to Tara and some were coming to me. And I say applications, it's resume qualifications. I would like to say 10 to 12, maybe 15 that we've had apply.
Well, I will call you late tomorrow morning and or you can email me after you've gotten the count.
When's our deadline?
November 3rd. But we can start an initial review before the deadline, and then as the other ones come back in, I can get the group together and we can review those as well.
That's all I had, pretty much. That moves us to city administrator number 10.
And monthly reports in the packet, if you have any questions, we're still out. We've requested proposals for new uniform services. That's coming up. We'll have that in the November meeting, hopefully a contract for that.
Are we on an evergreen with the existing supplier?
Pardon me?
We have an evergreen with the existing supplier?
I've already notified them that we are, within our 90 days, that we were canceling our contract, but they were welcome to rebid. So, I would say we've been at Theramark well over 20 years. I know today's
Oh,
my
you
17-year anniversary of the city, and we've been at least 17 years, so. Thank you.
What, is there a reason why we're getting rid of them then? We've been with them that so long?
Yeah, we've had some complaints here and there over the years, and really just, we need to make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck. Complaints about rugs not smelling good, and being musty and things like that, and uniforms coming back that were not in the same shape that they were in whenever they were picked up. So,
I think it's good on some sort of rotation, you check pricing to see to make sure that everybody's in line, and that gives you some responsibility.
Every 3 to 5 years, it
Yeah.
should be quoted.
I would agree.
And then that would be considered best practice is 3 years,
Mhm.
and 5 is reasonable.
Sister, you met with Dane Love.
Oh, yeah.
How'd that go?
that went really well. He's agreed to lock in our rates for this next year as they currently are, and not increase rates. And I did let him know that we would be looking at going out for bid we have to give him a 2-year notice, so he's been given, I didn't give it to him in writing, but I told it to him in person, and he understood, what we would be looking to do, so.
Can I ask a question? I know I'm not supposed to, but is he picking up enough recycling to have that program? Because I know there's nobody in our subdivision that recycles, and yet they're driving through there all the time. And so I'm curious to whether or not there's enough people that are putting out recycling to even make it worthwhile. I mean, I know the dumpster, or the recycle bin up here is full by the end of Monday every time, and by the end of Wednesday every time, and Friday.
And we need to find out on that, we need to find out how much of that's going and being then dumped over in the regular general
Exactly.
trash, because if there's stuff in it.
There's a lot.
50% of what we're doing over there is not going to recycling, because they will not separate it.
Well, people are throwing a lot of plastic bags in there, and I know that is an
I heard there
absolute
was a lot
no-no.
going on, that there were people were putting stuff in there that was not recyclable, and they will not sort it, so they take it over and they dump it in the regular general landfill. So that completely defeats the purpose of why we have it,
Exactly.
right? I'm the first one that wants to save the planet and do what we can, I mean, without question, but if this is a practice of madness, because we're not getting anywhere near it, it'd be nice to find that out.
I'll find out, I'll see if I can find out how much they're actually picking up for recycling curbside, and then
And
see what is actually
the
going on.
percentage is actually-
Yeah.
And they could run recycling at any time? They don't have a set time, start time?
Yeah, because they come a lot earlier for recycling.
Yeah, they're like
I thought it
at
was
like at 3:30 in the
midnight.
morning.
Yeah, yeah, he comes, because I thought, for a long time, it was Dane picking it up, himself picking it up. So, I don't know, yes, they do come earlier for recycling,
Do they plan on rebidding for the contract?
yes, I believe so.
Anything else from you? City attorney is gone, she had planned, she's on a trip, she had planned this in advance by quite a bit. So that moves us to the city clerk, who is out, anything from the city clerk, you know, hanging out there? Okay. That brings us to 13, as may arise, discussion of ARPA funding options.
Actually, Landon brought this to my attention today, I'm glad he did, because he put it in the packet. These are just some things that we had talked about at our ARPA meeting. We got together with, the library, the chamber, park department, some aldermen, city staff, to look at what we could be doing with this ARPA funding. I'm also running projections to see, if it qualifies for lost revenue. So the threshold for lost revenue is 4.1% from 2018-19 year. So if our revenues did not increase 4.1% during those years, all of the money can go into general revenue and then we can take care of all these projects if that's what we want to do with it, instead of having to categorize them out. So I'm running that projection to see, or those numbers to see if we need that. Otherwise, we have a really good start. We've received our first amount of funding, $430,913.09. I can't say numbers. So we do have that. Then there's a list in your packets about what we looked at.
Will that eventually be online so that, like, I could see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, I mean, nothing, sorry, it's not there.
It is, but it's just not on the website link. So that's what we were trying to do, was link it to the website. It's out there online on the town cloud side, and that's accessible anytime too. So if you
But
want to
see, I still haven't been able to find that.
So if you click on a link from a previous agenda packet, and then whenever you're on that page, there's a little thing that says home, click on home, and it's gonna bring up all of the agendas and everything. You can look at everything.
Okay. If you say so, I'll be calling.
That's fine. I made some changes. Some of the things that we had looked at doing, we can rehire for lost positions to address negative economic impacts. That would be for the finance director at City Hall. That's the one position that we have not replaced citywide. We talked about mobile hotspots, additional mobile hotspots for the library. They were getting ready to lose several that they have. So we were looking to replace 16 of those, so that they're checked out all the time. New building at the golf course that would provide community bathrooms, while we're out there. Hazard pay for essential employees. Community bathrooms and pavilion area at the empty lot on Railroad in Rollins. Could use it for outdoor events, but it would be there all the time. I have talked to the park department, they are willing to maintain that. Bathroom is added into the rotation, so willing to mow the lot, so it would stay looking nice. I think there's a lot of things that we could do in that area, and that might just be a start to it. Indoor air quality, that's another thing we looked at. Camera system, new camera system for in here. It's gonna be better than the one we currently have. We probably need to look at upgrading that as well.
Especially if we want something that that's portable.
Right, okay.
Go in the other room and then.
What are we talking about?
You expecting something
Oh,
else?
no, gotcha. No, right.
Like a camera?
Oh, yeah. Let me hit the mic so people wonder what. Because they've got portable mic systems that aren't pricey. Especially since we had 90 grand that we haven't allocated
Yes,
on our wish list yet.
on our wish list. Allocating and actually increase this from the number that we had the other day. I was able to increase it to 10,000 instead of 8,500 for violent crime prevention and response. And then we got some more guidance on what that could be. It can be used for several different things in our police department to help. So I think that would be a good option.
Just think of some of the conversations we've had, not that have happened here, but in other communities, when we had the whole conversation about tasers being pulled wrong and stuff like that.
Right.
Any of that stuff that we can reinforce to make sure it doesn't happen.
And then the next round of funding, looking at solar benches, we're looking at sewer lane mainlining, additional sewer mainlining, additional mobile hotspots, outdoor park and activity areas at the golf course, signage in the downtown area to help with what exactly?
Business district, wasn't it?
I think so,
Yeah.
to
To
help.
let people know about railroad, the businesses on Railroad Street and.
Yeah.
Plus you could change them when they see it.
Yeah.
I think of the Christmas decorations or whatever they call it, but something
Right,
that promotes the business, especially,
I think
all
for
the events
economic
that are going
development.
on around here.
right.
And the community has done a lot of things. If we can point to businesses with it, that would be great.
And then, there's also something for water bottle filling stations around town. Several different things that we could do just to enhance our community like that. Welcome to more ideas. There are categories that they have to fall into.
I was gonna say, on the front page of the Tribune today, there's a thing saying that nobody really knows how all this is going to be legally spent and going on about it and meeting all the requirements and.
Yeah, it's difficult because you have to look at the interim rules and there are no final rules yet. So I hesitate to spend any of this until we have that, a little bit more guidance, but.
Mine's bad, wow.
Let me ask a question. As we look at this, the finance position, City Hall Finance Director position,
Yeah,
first year, second year, that's just, that would pay for that year, the first year of that position being back, and this would be the second year?
right.
And then we would have to figure out in the budget how to continue to pay this, in our general.
Yes.
Overhead center.
Include pennies.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool.
So I talked to somebody about them solar
Benches?
benches,
Mhm.
and they have nothing but problems with them. We went to Branson this weekend, they had them all over Branson, and they did not like them.
What is a solar bench?
It's a bench with the top on the solar things, what
Solar
they had.
panel on top
Solar
of it.
panel, so that you can have
Charge
a
your phones
charging
and-
station.
And he said they had nothing but problems with it.
Lights up at night.
No, it doesn't light up, it's just like a charging station for your phone or your computer.
Like a
or-
top on it, it's a canopy, but it's a.
Yeah.
It's a.
He was working on one, and I said, what do you think of these things? They're junk, is what he said.
We talked about another, something, maybe it wasn't that. I was thinking of what we talked about in addition to that, instead of that.
Hotspots at the various structures that we have around.
Right, just having a
Right.
Wi-Fi.
The city
enabled.
Wi-Fi at the
Right,
parks.
so
type
if
thing.
people got close to it, they could log on to it free. You know,
Yeah.
It'd be strong enough that they could do the
Especially-
That might be a better option maybe
I
than
think
charging
it might be.
stations.
Yeah.
That's something to make, I mean,
Because-
now you've got the
Solar
maintenance
doesn't-
thing out in the weather, I mean, I know those.
Well, I
things-
mean, we're already having problems with the water, like the automatic water meters and the automatic, I mean, aren't you having issues with all that stuff? So, I mean, we're looking at more automatic stuff that's gonna cause problems.
Well,
And maybe it's, if we think of those structures, maybe we can put USB type plugs on those structures. Many of the structures have electricity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they make an outlet with
Right.
USB.
And just
Yeah.
replace them.
Just replace the
Just
outlet.
That's
like
a
at the
great
airport.
idea.
It's
That's
like
just,
going
it's
to
just
the
an
airport,
outlet that's got
the
USB on
And
the
I don't
outlet.
think we need this to replace the outlets, but,
Right.
I mean, that would be a way.
I get that, but he said that he works on 3 or 4 a week,
Yeah, that's a lot.
you know, and you
I mean-
you bring him down, then you tell Earl that
How many
you
of
gotta
those?
work on these. Yeah,
Was there a lot of them down
yeah, there was a lot of them,
there? And people were using them?
when they worked.
Yeah.
One thing that I did want to point out too is that we cannot use this money to pay debt that we already have. So our SRF, it cannot be used to pay for the SRF funding that we've already,
That'd be a new project.
yeah.
And it can't be
Well, that's just good
the
stuff.
matching funds.
Right, it
It's
cannot
not
be
just
matched.
debt, but it's also not. matching.
Something you get a matching fund, grants, whatever you can.
Right.
Can it be used for like sidewalks and stuff like that?
I don't think so, but we could look at it and see. I know there's a provision to use it for stormwater, so our stormwater project might be a nice thing, but if your stormwater project has to fall into the categories of what could be funded under the Safe Drinking Water Act, or Safe Drinking Water Program through the State Revolving Fund. So
That's good,
it's really, yeah, it would be
to
tough
make
to
it
tie
tough
it
to
into
tie it
that.
together, that's a stretch, I think, it could be, I mean.
The sidewalks is a good idea. My 86-year-old aunt tripped over a sidewalk that has a 2-inch differential. She busted her chin open, her hand, everything. She's a mess right now.
We're looking at a milling machine that would help with that too, so whenever we find.
Well, I
those
saw where they
problem
fixed the
places-
corner up here on the city square.
Yeah,
I mean, our whole subdivision has ups and downs like that because every contractor did a little bit different.
yeah.
And, you know, but when an 86-year-old falls on Sneed Street because of the sidewalk, it's not a good thing. I mean, she was lucky she was able to get herself up and get back home. We weren't home, so she couldn't even call us. But she busted her chin open and all kinds of stuff, so. But I realize that sidewalks can't be done that way, but it would be nice if we could do something with sidewalks.
Yeah, but we could try to look at it for our budget year, you know, to try, we really need to be doing some sidewalk replacement every single year.
But what about that machine we were just talking about? Could that-
The grading.
They can.
I don't know if it would fall under this, but it is, something that we can get, we can apply for a grant through MIRMA for this machine and they'll pay 75% of it.
So what's it going? It's just a machine, or is it attachment?
Yeah, it's just a machine, it kind of looks like a tiller. It's about the size of a tiller.
Does it
Donnie?
dig the sidewalk up, or does it help
It,
with?
it just
concrete?
helps like
It just
level
eats the
it.
sidewalk.
It
Oh, it
eats
grinds
off.
it.
It grinds it.
It's just a grinder, finisher,
Uh-huh.
concrete finisher thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I welcome more ideas, I can plug them into this, we can talk more about it, we've got some more time to talk about it, but, I know that, I mean, as soon as we get a final ruling, it would be nice to be able to start rolling out with some of these things.
Absolutely.
Can any of that
As soon as I
money,
have those numbers, I'll email everyone.
I don't suppose any of that money can be used for the fire department for some of the equipment they need?
Yes, it could,
Oh, really?
yes, because
Okay.
public safety is, an acceptable use for it. So,
That was
yeah.
one of the things we talked about, if we had some money left, it could be part of a fire truck or something.
Yeah. That got brought up, absolutely did. Anything else on that?
Mm-mm.
That moves us to item 14.
Did they get the, little truck fixed? Fire truck?
Oh,
Last I
the
heard, he was still working on it, they were still trying to get it
test?
to,
The test?
Yeah, they were sending it off, last I heard.
I have not heard since then. But since Monday, I don't know.
Yeah, Monday's meeting was a little hectic.
So you say you welcome my comments after last week, huh?
Yes.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second. First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.